let me hit you with a question that might rattle you a little. What if you never truly retire? See, we've been sold this dream since we were kids. Go to school, get a job, work 40 years, and then bam, retire at 65. Sit on a beach, sip something cold, and live happily ever after. Sounds great, right? The problem, it's a fairy tale. For most people, it never happens. Why? Because the cost of living keeps rising, pensions don't stretch like they used to, and let's be honest, most folks never save enough. But here's the kicker. Even if you do hit that magic number, retirement isn't always the golden life you pictured. Plenty of retirees find themselves bored, unhealthy, or back at work because their money or their sense of purpose ran out. So maybe the question isn't, when do I retire? Maybe the real question is, how do I build a life where I never need to? A life where work is optional, not mandatory. A life where your health, your wealth, and your freedom are balanced, not pushed off until you're too old to enjoy them. That's what we're breaking down today. Not the fantasy of retiring someday, but the reality of creating a life so good you don't need to escape it. Most people think retirement is a number, 65, maybe 67 if you're unlucky. Society has drilled that into us for decades. Grind until you hit retirement age, then finally start enjoying life. But let me tell you, retirement has nothing to do with age. Retirement is about freedom. It's about building a life where your money works harder than you do. So you don't have to wait for some birthday cake with too many candles before you get to start living. Think about it. We all know someone who hit 65, got their gold watch, and within 2 years, they were right back working at a supermarket or driving Uber. Why? Because their pension didn't cut it. On the flip side, we also know folks in their 30s or 40s who travel when they want, live on their own terms, and never stress about Mondays. Who's really retired in that scenario? The truth is, retirement isn't about quitting work, it's about having the choice. When your investments, assets, or businesses generate enough income to cover your lifestyle, you're free. Free to keep working because you love it, free to walk away if you don't. That's what I mean when I say retirement is a mindset. Here's where people mess up. They treat retirement like a finish line. They spend 40 years slogging away, hating Mondays, living for weekends, waiting for that magical day when life finally starts. But life doesn't start at 65. It's happening right now. And if you don't learn to design your life today, there's a good chance you'll never get to enjoy it tomorrow. So how do you shift your mindset? Stop asking, when can I retire? Start asking, how can I build freedom sooner? That could mean investing in stocks that pay you dividends, buying rental property that gives you monthly cash flow, or building a side business that eventually replaces your salary. The point is to build streams of income that don't rely on your time. That's the mindset shift. And here's another thing a lot of people hit: retirement age, with money in the bank, but no plan for their days. Guess what happens? They get bored. They lose purpose. They realize they spent their whole life waiting for a finish line that doesn't even feel good once they cross it. That's why I say, don't aim to retire from life. Aim to create a life you don't need to retire from. If you can wake up every day and do what you enjoy, while your money quietly covers the bills in the background, congratulations, you've already retired, no matter what your age is. Retirement is not 65. It's not a pension. It's not a number. Retirement is freedom. Retirement is mindset. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can stop counting years and start building a life you actually want. Here's a thought that flips the whole idea of retirement upside down. 8. Work doesn't have to disappear when you retire. The real question is, do you work because you have to or because you want to? That's the difference between being trapped and being free. See, most people spend their lives in mandatory mode. The bills don't stop. The mortgage has to be paid. The fridge doesn't fill itself. So they clock in at a job they might not even like. 8. Just to keep the wheels turning. That's not freedom, that's survival. But imagine this: your investments pay you dividends every quarter. Your rental property sends you cash every month. Maybe you've got a side hustle or small business that runs without you. Suddenly, the paycheck from your job isn't the lifeline anymore. It's just extra. Now, if you choose to keep working, it's because you enjoy the people, the challenge, or the passion behind it. That's optional work, and it feels completely different. Mandatory work says, if I don't go to the office, I can't eat. Optional work says, I don't need this job, but I like doing it, so I'll show up. Two, and here's the thing, when you're in that optional position, you hold all the cards. You're not begging for promotions, you're not stressing over layoffs, and you're not stuck in a toxic environment just to survive. You can walk away anytime because your financial foundation is strong. That's power. Now, let's be real. Getting to optional work doesn't happen overnight. It takes planning. You've got to build income streams outside of your job. Stocks, index funds, businesses, royalties, real estate, you name it. The key is setting up systems that generate money even when you're asleep. That's how you flip from, I have to work, to, I choose to work. And here's where the mindset shift really kicks in. A lot of people think freedom means sitting on a beach doing nothing. But let's be honest, you get bored in 2 weeks. The point isn't to never work again. The point is to have the choice, to spend your time on projects you care about, with people you like, on terms you control. I'll tell you this, retirees who built optional work into their life are the happiest ones. They don't feel useless or lost when they stop working full-time because they still have purpose. They still get to create, contribute, and challenge themselves, but without the financial pressure. So here's the lesson, don't aim to escape work completely. Aim to escape mandatory work. Build your freedom so that you wake up every day with options. Because when you no longer have to work, that's when you're truly free. Optional work is not just a luxury. It's the real definition of retirement. You can spend your whole life chasing money, stacking your savings, and maxing out your retirement accounts. But let me hit you with some truth. If you don't have your health and a sense of purpose, that bank account won't mean much. Think about it. What good is $1 million if you're too sick to enjoy it? 8. What good is early retirement if you wake up every day bored out of your mind, wondering why you're even here? That's the reality a lot of people face. 8. They spend 40 years chasing numbers in a bank account and forget to take care of the two things that matter most, their body and their reason for living. Let's start with health. Most people ignore it when they're young because they think they've got endless time. Fast food, long nights, high stress, no exercise, it doesn't seem to hurt at 25. But those choices add up. By the time retirement comes around, you're paying for decades of neglect. And here's the kicker, all that money you save now goes straight to doctors, pills, and hospital bills. Retirees say it all the time. I'd trade half my money just to get my health back. That should scare you enough to take action now. But health isn't the whole picture. Purpose matters just as much. Too many retirees cross the finish line, quit their jobs, and suddenly realize they've got nothing to wake up for. They thought freedom meant doing nothing, but doing nothing is a trap. Without purpose, you lose energy, you lose drive, and in many cases, you lose happiness. It's no coincidence that people who keep active hobbies, side projects, or volunteer work live longer and feel more fulfilled. Here's what that teaches us. Don't just plan for financial retirement, plan for life retirement. Ask yourself, what will keep me moving when I no longer need a paycheck? What will give me meaning when the work emails stop? Because purpose is fuel, and without it, life after retirement can feel empty, no matter how much money you have. And let's tie the two together. Health and purpose feed each other. If you take care of your body, you'll have the energy to pursue meaningful activities. If you have purpose, you'll take better care of your body so you can keep doing what you love. Ignore either one, and all the money in the world won't save you. So here's the lesson. Don't sacrifice your health or your sense of meaning on the altar of money. Build your wealth, yes, but also invest in exercise, in good food, in relationships, in passions that light you up. Because in the end, your bank account might give you security, but your health and your purpose will give you life. That's the real jackpot. Here's the problem with the traditional retirement plan. It tells you to grind for 40, 50 years, sacrifice your best energy, and only then, when you're grey, tired, and maybe not even healthy, do you finally get permission to live. That's broken. Waiting until 65 to enjoy life is like saving dessert until after the party's over. The smarter move, redefine retirement. Instead of looking at it as a single event at the end of your working years, Treat it as a lifestyle you build along the way. In other words, live while you earn. What does that mean? It means designing your life so that freedom and enjoyment aren't delayed until some future milestone. Take mini retirements, breaks where you travel, learn, or pursue passions, even if you're still working. Build passive income so you can work fewer hours and still cover your bills. Choose jobs, businesses, or projects that give you flexibility instead of locking you into 60-hour weeks. Because here's the truth, you don't know how much time you've got. Too many people save their dreams for someday, only to find out someday never comes. Retirees will tell you with tears in their eyes, "I thought I'd travel when I was older, but by then my health wouldn't let me." Or, "I planned to spend more time with my family after I retired, but they grew up without me." That's not living. That's waiting. When you redefine retirement, you stop waiting for permission. You give yourself small doses of freedom throughout your life. Maybe you work part-time and spend the rest building your side hustle. Maybe you live in a cheaper area so you can afford to work less and travel more. Maybe you invest early so your dividends pay for adventures long before you hit 65. The point is you don't put your life on hold. And here's the best part, when you live while you earn, you actually enjoy your money more. Think about it, a vacation in your 30s when you've got the energy to hike, swim, and explore feels completely different than a vacation in your 70s when you're just sitting in a chair. The memories hit harder, the experiences last longer, and they fuel you to keep pushing forward. Redefining retirement also changes your relationship with work. Instead of seeing it as a prison you need to escape, you build a life where work is integrated with joy. You work on projects that excite you, not just ones that pay you. You create balance, not burnout. So here's the lesson. Stop thinking of retirement as the end of the game. Start thinking of it as a lifestyle design challenge. Don't just ask, how do I survive until retirement? Ask, 8, how do I sprinkle retirement into my life right now? Because if you do it right, you'll never need to retire. You'll already be living. That's the real definition of freedom.